News at 6 with Joe Perkins.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. We begin tonight in Parksville, where NDP leader Adrian Dix had his turn today to fire a shot at the BC Liberals, who continue to feel the effects of what many are calling Ethnic Gate, that controversial scheme laid out in a leaked document that aimed to win over ethnic voters. Yesterday, Premier Christy Clark accepted the resignation of one of her closest advisors, and today the flames were fanned by another resignation, this time from a Liberal riding official who says he's appalled by the BC government's latest scandal. Earlier this week, the Liberals' leaked document went public, revealing an 8-point plan, including recommendations on securing quick wins by correcting historical wrongs against ethnic groups. This week, Liberal MLA spoke out against the document, some calling it insulting. Today, NDP leader Adrian Dix had a chance to weigh in at a town hall meeting with Parksville Qualicum NDP candidate Barry Avis.
I don't think we've received answers to questions yet. Very significant questions that the public has with the use of public funds, what the direction the government's taking, what how they engage in political life. And those questions need to be answered.
The fallout continued today for the Liberals, with James Plett, the Vice President of the Liberal Riding Association in Surrey, stepping down. In a letter posted online, Plett said he was appalled by the leaked document and went on to slam the Liberals. The Premier apologized for the language in the document on Thursday. She spent last night in Prince George but did not speak to media today.
Oh, this is very serious for the Liberal Party. They're facing an election within about 90 days, and they've just lost their Assistant Chief of Staff. Earlier, they lost their Chief of Staff to Christy Clark. And so you can't underestimate how damaging that is. But more important, you're off message. You are 16 points behind in the latest polling, and you're off message day after day after day dealing with a scandal. That's the worst thing that can happen, because you are going to run out of time.
At least one online political blogger has suggested that the RCMP could be looking into the Liberal Party and the recently revealed ethnic scheme. The RCMP confirmed today they are aware of the online comments as well as the speculation, but say police are not investigating any complaints within the BC Liberal Party. A road in Cowichan Bay is back underwater tonight. Usually melting snow is to blame, but this time you could chalk it up to heavy rain, whipping winds, and high seas, which have all recently collided with Vancouver Island's west coast. Locals say they're not surprised and wish the province would step in. CTV's Scott Cunningham has that story.
For those who commute on Cowichan Bay Road, this is an oddly common view.
How often does this happen?
Oh, probably a good 10 or 12 times a year, at least.
Closed early this morning as water rushed over the back road in the Cowichan Valley. Locals say a surge of winter rain may not solely be to blame.
I think when they put a new paving on the road, they should have raised the low spots here 2 or 3 feet, so we didn't have this every time it's raining.
As far as most in the region can remember, Cowichan Bay Road has flooded. So when the provincial government spent huge dollars to repave it last year, most were left shaking their heads as to why nothing was done to address the chronic problem.
I think there's a huge mistake. They should have raised it, minimum a couple of feet, at least. I think it was a big waste of time of what they did.
Frustrated motorists have received this answer from the province. There are no plans for diking or other mitigation to Cowichan Bay Road at this time. The ministry staff and the road and bridge maintenance contractor, Main Road South Island, regularly monitor Cowichan Bay Road to ensure safety for the traveling public. Safety does not seem like a huge issue here, but staring at the flooded road is a sad reminder for most of a problem that is not going away.
Only one day of rain and it came up too fast.
Drivers and their vehicles may soon get a break. Rain is expected to taper off tonight and give way to a sun-filled Sunday, and maybe a new view through the windshield. Scott Cunningham, CTV News, Duncan.
Saanich police have one person in custody after an altercation last night led to a man being slashed in the face with a knife. It happened just before 9 last night on the 3900 block of Wolfe Street. The altercation broke out between two men who police say knew one another. A 41-year-old man ended up being taken to hospital with minor lacerations to his face. He was released later in the night. A 45-year-old man was arrested without incident and is being held in custody pending charges. Police in Vancouver are investigating the city's third homicide of 2013. Just before 10 last night, police were called to a bar on Main Street after a man was found unresponsive outside. The 47-year-old was ejected from the Ivanhoe pub earlier in the night. The man was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The cause of the death is not known at this time. Police have a 50-year-old man in custody. The family of a BC woman who died while fighting to get doctor-assisted suicide decriminalized will continue her mission tomorrow. Gloria Taylor's mother and sister will hold a news conference tomorrow in advance of a date with the province's Court of Appeal next week. Back in June of 2012, a BC Supreme Court judge struck down the laws that make physician-assisted dying illegal in Canada. The federal government appealed the decision in the case launched by 3 plaintiffs, including Taylor, who suffered from ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. Back on the island, the family of a Victoria toddler known to many as Baby Molly received some much-needed help today. A not-so-silent auction was held today at Coffee on Holtane. Baby Molly's ongoing battle with leukemia recently sent her and her family to St. Jude Children's Hospital in Memphis to undergo experimental treatment. The 2-year-old Molly Campbell was diagnosed when she was just a few weeks old, and the first time around, she beat it. But it returned recently, forcing her family to head south so she could undergo treatment.
So the family has had to relocate down to Memphis, Tennessee, and they're a family of 7. So the medical costs are covered by our government, but they need to pay for their living expenses down there. And unfortunately, Dave doesn't have a job anymore, and Rebecca is a stay-at-home mom, so they don't have any income at this time. So this silent auction is just our small way to try and help the Campbell family.
Up for grabs, some art, a luxury box for the Victoria Royals, and lots of services, including massages, haircuts, yoga lessons. The move to the U.S. also meant Molly's siblings had to be separated. 2 are being cared for by their grandparents in Victoria.
The one thing that I've been trying to do, and the other fundraisers have been trying to do, is actually not think too much about what the family's going through, because it's just unthinkable. And so anytime I go to thinking about that, it's too emotional. So really, I've just been staying really focused on this task of raising money. I guess it's the way that the community is kind of coping with this, is by putting their energy into a really practical thing.
The rest of the family is still in Memphis. Following that, they will go to Vancouver to continue Molly's care at BC Children's Hospital. The Campbells say they appreciate the words of support, thoughts, and prayers on their website. To learn more and to donate, you can visit mollycampbell.ca. Vancouver Islanders know the power of the penny. More than 1.5 million of them helped create Janice Place, and now a new fountain is hoping it can help bring in a few more coins to help create another lasting legacy for children's health. If your wish is to help the lives of children on the island, it will come true when you toss a coin in this waterfall fountain. Uptown Mall is dedicating its waterfall outside Walmart to the Children's Health Foundation of Vancouver Island. Every coin tossed into the waterfall will support the foundation's programs that help families and children in the Vancouver Island community.
Moving forward throughout the year, any change that is donated to our waterfall here, and as well as the fountain on Saanich and Blanchard Street, is all collected and donated back to the Children's Health Foundation.
It'll go to a number of different programs to help children who are living with different issues, different challenges that they're overcoming, and it'll go in this community and up island as well.
Uptown also presented a check to the Children's Health Foundation for more than $4,800. Some of that money will go towards Janice Place. The money was raised from Uptown's Christmas promotion. Welcome back. For the 3rd year in a row, the Fernwood community has taken what's old and transformed it into something new and vintageous. From old typewriters to old luggage, even some jewelry, And of course, clothes. It was all on display today at the Fernwood Community Centre. 40 booths with everything vintage from the 1920s to the 1980s was up for sale. Organizers say vintage is back.
Well, in some way, I think because it's different, it is an attractant right there. But also it takes you back nostalgia-wise, certainly for anybody who's lived through any particular era. They might have a real sense of fondness for certain things.
Things were just made so much higher quality and one-of-a-kind pieces, and I think in the early 80s mass production really took off, and I think there's been a big step away from that lately where people would rather reuse, recycle, and buy things from the past that are in amazing condition. And not only that, you'll have a unique piece that hasn't been mass produced, so it'll be a total one-of-a-kind.
Proceeds from the $3 admission fee go to support the Fernwood Neighborhood Resource Group. More information on the event can be found at vintagefairvictoria.com.